Hey, what's going on, everybody? I know it's been a minute since everybody's seen me. If you are new to the channel, well, I haven't made a video. It's probably been about 6 months, maybe longer than that. I'm not sure. I had started my little trucking journey of buying multiple trucks and getting them on the road. So I'll be making videos about updates on that soon. But anyway, today is Thanksgiving Day, and I'm getting my, daily morning walk on real quick. But while I'm getting this walk, I figured, hey, let's get back to making these videos, get back to talking about things you like to talk about. And today, I want to talk about, you know, 10 books that I feel like, in my opinion, that can really change your life. And I would suggest people reading them all within a year. Try to read one a month. If you don't like to read like some people, just get the audio versions of them. Get the app Audible. You can get all of these books and get a subscription for like $14 a month, and it'll give you one free book to listen to every month with that subscription. Or you can just buy these books on Amazon. You may find these books in other places that may be free. You don't even have to buy them. They're all over the place. But anyway, these books are definitely a great investment. They definitely will do something for your life. I promise. I mean, I would put anything on that. And you don't necessarily have to read these books in this particular order, but I mean, they're in order for me, and this is how I would read them. But this is what I think. Number one book I think you should read was the book Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. The book was written in 1937. It's like a personal development book, but it's like the foundation. It's like the book that you read to like really get that thing started, get your new life that you're trying to create, to get it started, to get your mind right, get that desire right, get all that stuff in order. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like, okay, this is the book you read or listen to, whatever you want to do. But this is the one you start with. You start with that book, and that's what I have at number one, Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. You can get a sample look at the reviews, and you're gonna see everyone say the same thing. And most people, I don't know anybody that's read this book. I don't know personally know anyone that's read this book that hasn't done something to their life.
Sorry.
Oh, you're right. So I feel like this book is something that you should read. You know what I mean? So this is one great book to read, Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. Second book I would read is the book called No Excuses, The Power of Self-Discipline by Brian Tracy. This book is self-explanatory. It's a book about not making any excuses. It's about a book, it's just that's something that everyone needs to get to the point of, like, just taking personal accountability of your actions, doing the things that you're supposed to be doing, not worrying about trying to find somebody to point the finger at. Getting to that point where it's like, okay, how to get to this situation, how can I fix it, let's find a solution, instead of love, it's such and such fault, we can get out of doing that, because everybody does that and it doesn't get anyone anywhere. So it's like, okay, forget who fault it is, let's figure out how we can get this thing working and going, because making these excuses and stuff ain't getting us nowhere. I ain't got time to hear that. Man, I deal with stuff like that on a daily, where someone call me about a problem, and I'm like, okay, what do you want to do? And they don't even have they don't even know what they want to do. They just want to vent. Cool. I'm not the one to call to be venting. Call your lady, or call your, whoever you want. You should have a person in life that you probably can do that with. I'm not that person, because I got so much stuff going on. I don't have time to be putting out your fires too. So it's like, hey, I can help you now in the point, but you need to kind of give me some options of what you would like to do. I don't have time to stop what I'm doing throughout the day to think about, okay, let me stop doing what I'm doing, because my time is precious. Everyone knows that time is valuable. So I don't have time to stop my day to put out your fire because you didn't take the time to think about some options that you may want to do. I know it could sound kind of harsh, but that may have something to do with another one of the books I may talk about later on. They maybe not. I don't know, but that's just just making no excuses, man. Just do what you got to do to get the job done. Number three, the book Relentless. This is part of that book I was talking about, that kind of like, you got to be relentless when it comes to things. You got to have that eye of the tiger. You got to be able to do what you need to do, or whatever, you know what I'm saying? Like, getting the job done, man, by all means necessary. Like, this book is by Tim Grover, and I think he actually was like Kobe Bryant's and Michael Jordan's trainer at one point. And I think, like, with them being able to be the great athletes they are. He had a lot to do with that. So this is one book I think you should pick up. You know what I'm saying? Because this book, it's like talks about from going from good to great to unstoppable. When you get that thing where you feel unstoppable, like you can't be stopped, and you got that, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm gonna do it by all means necessary. You know what I'm saying? Get out my way. I'm gonna run through this wall. You know, I'm gonna do what I gotta do. This is that book, man. It just gets you that. It just gets you powered up. And that's why I say I got it at number 3. You know what I'm saying? Because it's kind of like, it's like you're building this castle, you're building this empire, and it's the thing that you. Then this is for your life. You know what I'm saying? You know, and like, you know, that's just how it is, man. You just got to get to that point where you just, you know what I mean? This is the thing. This is it. This is the one, right? So then, okay, number 4, we can get back to the money. Get back to number 4. You know, people think, you know, the money, but that's the main thing what a lot of people care about. You know what I'm saying? People say money's not everything. Well, yeah, it ain't everything, but it's about as important as air. You gotta have that bread to do what you gotta do. You gotta have options. When you got options, you can make decisions on what you want to do instead of what you have to do. You know what I'm saying? Some people do things because they ain't got no choice, or at least they feel like they ain't got no choice. So, you know what I'm saying? This right here, this book right here, man. This book, I feel like, you know, it'll kind of teach you to the point of get you out of thinking what you think. You know, what you think is the millionaires like. Like most people think the millionaires are the ones that are. They think the millionaires are the ones that are like. Every time you see somebody and they got, you know, like the rappers, like you see those rappers and stuff like that. But we always hear about rappers and athletes going broke. But you see them on here. They got all the jewelry, they got all the cars, they got all the girls, they got all the houses. I mean, you can see their money. You see where they don't spend their money. You know, their money's sitting in the driveway. You know what I'm saying? That's all their money. So, but the people that got the real bread, the people that they work for, like the, you know, the corporations, the actual, you know, the actual companies that they have to answer to, they got the real money. But you won't see it because they all about their money out there. Their money's out there working for them. Their time is their money. You know what I'm saying? Their money, like they use their money to buy time. So like then, like the money's working for them when they're sleeping, when they're dead and gone, and their kids and grandkids and on, and generational wealth is what I'm talking about. This is what this book is kind of like showing you. Like, I know it's an example in this book where the guy, I think he was like, the guy, he might have been worth like 10 million. So, and his house, he was living in a neighborhood where the homes went from, I think the homes went from 300,000 up to a million or something like that, right? So he's worth about 10 million and his home is probably like 300,000. His next door neighbor makes about 70,000 a year. He's like a lawyer or something like that. And this book was written a while back, so I think it was written like 96. So $70,000 being a lawyer, depending on where this place was, that's probably some decent money at the time. But anyway, so the guy next door, he's like probably making like 70,000 a year. He's a lawyer, and he has this, you know, he has this BMW. It's like this 4-year-old BMW, and he sells it to the guy that's worth 10 million. But nobody knows this guy worth 10 million. So the guy buys the used BMW, and from that point, he, you know, the guy kind of looks down on, like, yeah, he has my old BMW, because he goes out and leases a brand new one or whatever, buys a brand new one. So, you know, but this guy, he's pretty much like deep in debt. You know, he got this, you know, he making 70,000, but you know, he has a brand new $70,000 car. His home is like $1 million, and he can't even make the payments on it. And it's probably, you know, he's up to debt to his eyeballs or whatever. So, but you just never know. You know, the same person you may look down on, or the same person you can think just because you can't see their bread, you don't know what they're worth a lot of times. Because a lot of times, a lot of people, there's a certain community that you know that they're known to have money, but you can never tell because, you know, they don't show it. Their money is in buildings and, you know, warehouses, in, you know, some stocks and bonds and real estates and all kind of other things that are going to make them a lot more return on their money. You know what I'm saying? And that's kind of what this book kind of like lays out. But it's just a really good book to just kind of understand, like, you know, it's just the secrets of most of the wealthy in America. And it's a good book to read. So since we're on that subject about money, let's get to number 5. And this book was a dear book to my heart. Book changed my life. I actually like studied this person who wrote this book for years. I mean, I listened to his radio show from 2012 to 2019 faithfully. You know what I mean? I hadn't listened to it in a while because I still believe in what he talks about, but I've been onto other things, and I feel those years that I was listening to the show served its purpose. So here it is: Total Money Makeover by Dave Ramsey. Total Money Makeover by Dave Ramsey is a great book. This book is like, it pretty much is teaching you how to manage your money, how to handle your money, how to get out of debt, how to keep track of your money. Because you got to think about it, right? If you had a job and somebody said, hey, I'll give you $1 million a year just to manage the money that comes into this company, you're gonna probably do that. But why can't you do that for yourself? You manage your own money. Meaning, the only thing you're doing is pretty much telling your money where to go instead of your money telling you where it's gonna go. You just pretty much having a cash flow plan, aka a budget. People get scared of that word. People hate that word budget. They think cheap. No, it's not being cheap. It's just having a budget, meaning you having a balance sheet. You having something that says, okay, I made $1,000 this month. We made $4,000. We made $1,000 this week, $4,000 this month. If we look over a period of time, that's probably we're talking about $50,000 a year, right? So if you can break all this stuff down, and you know that your expenses, you get to the point, and you know your expenses are $5,000 a month, but you're only making $4,000 a month. So every month you're in the negative. You're in the negative every month. So you pretty much, that's kind of like crazy, right? So you start looking at things that you can pay off. If you got debts and stuff like that, let's say, hey, let's just figure out, let's just get rid of that. Let's get rid of that thing. At least get to that point where you can get above water, where you can get, like, you can save $1,000 a month instead of spending $5,000 and you're only making $4,000. Okay, now you're living check to check instead of living, under check to check. You know what I mean? So now you're at making $4,000. You're making $4,000. You're spending $4,000. So let's try to get that thing down to half. Let's try to make an additional $1,000, which you can start making $5,000, spend $4,000. Now you're positive $1,000. It's always good, but you can keep that pattern up, and you get to the point, you get that balance sheet, and you kind of see where you're going with it. You kind of see what it does for your life. It'll get you to a point where it's like, oh man, this thing kind of works. Let's get this thing where I like only spend $2,000 and make $5,000. Now I got a pile of $3,000. Let's take this $3,000 and turn around and invest it in something, and try to get this $3,000 to work for me. You know what I mean? So if you can get to the point and you can just start doing that, and you get to the point and you can start like you understanding, just pretty much telling your money where you want your money to go, where you want your money to go, how you want your money to be. That'll really do everything for this thing that I'm talking about, and it's all goes together with everything, with investing, with just your life. Because man, most people, man, they go into that job they hate, go in that thing, get them folks 40 hours a week for the rest of their life, you know what I'm saying? And all they give them is like a little gold watch and a little gift certificate and maybe like a plaque to put up on the wall for all these years of service, for making the person that owns this corporation that told you got the bread that you don't see with the bread, that what I'm saying, you making them super rich, when that could be you. You could be the one to do that by just doing these little small things, you know what I'm saying? Like just small little things, like creating yourself a cash flow plan for your life, for your family, you know what I'm saying? Not having to pay Peter to what is it? How the thing is that pay Peter to borrow for Peter to pay Paul, or whatever it is. I'm talking about, the little thing people say all the time. You ain't gotta do that. You can pretty much be financially free. Financially free is just being able to, just kind of like, hey, I'm gonna tell, okay, I'm gonna spend this much for groceries, I'm spending this much for gas, and you are pretty much already pre-planning your money to like you already have a plan for the bread that's coming in, and then you got some bread that you gotta set to side just in case something go wrong, because something's gonna always go wrong, and that way you ain't gotta run to this little finance place to like borrow bread from them. They charge you 20-30% on your money, you know what I'm saying? Or you ain't gotta call your best friend and be like, yeah, hey bro, I'm in the jam, man, you mind if I borrow 300? You know what I'm saying? I got you, bro. And then now you on Facebook right afterwards, balling at the mall, shopping, just cop these new J's, just cop these new Yeezys, and that same person that you done bought a 300 phone looking at that Facebook, and you notice why they ain't like it, and they might just like it, just so they might put the little thing in your comments, because you already know, you know what I'm saying? But that's kind of how a lot of stuff get messed up, because it's like you out here balling, you out here spending money. I let you borrow, I charge you no interest, which he should have pretty much did you just like the banks do. You make you fill out a little form, Now, you know what I'm saying, gonna put a lien on something real quick if you don't pay that money back. Should have did some stuff like that, but you didn't do that, you know what I'm saying? So that's what I'm talking about though, man. You ain't gotta be that person borrowing money from your homeboys, or borrowing money, or your lady feeling like you ain't doing what you supposed to do because your pockets ain't right, man. That's, you know what I mean, that's one thing. Ain't nothing like having your money right. And and it's just, you can, you move different. But when your money right, then when your money right, you can move different, right? But when your money ain't right, you'll move different. You know what I'm saying? And when your money ain't right, your paper's looking ugly, it's like you mad at everybody. You feel like it's everybody's fault but your own. You know what I'm saying? You just frustrated. You know what I'm saying? You come up in the house and you fussing like, man, why y'all got these lights on? You know what I'm saying? Especially if you got LED lights in your house and it costs you like 3 cents a year. You coming in acting like, oh man, you got all these lights on, you got my power bill up. Power bill $100 this month. You know what I'm saying? I ain't got $100, cause of these little situation. But come on, man, you know how that go. And I ain't knocking nobody that do that, cause I'm one of them people that come in the house and I cut lights off. You know what I'm saying? That's how I know. You know what I'm saying? It's just a habit for me. Like, I don't like to waste anything, so it's just a habit of not wasting. So if there's a light on in the house, nobody's in the room, and there's no I'm gonna cut it off, because it's just, I like to keep those habits of not being wasteful. Being able to use as much time and use as much energy as I can to be productive. You know what I'm saying? It's all about being productive. All right, man, let's get back on track to what I was saying though. Where we at? We're on oh man, one of my favorites. Here we go. One of my favorite books, man. One of my favorite books. And that book is How to Win and Influence Friends by Dale Carnegie. Man, that book taught me how to almost dang, I hate to say it like this, but how to politic. You know what I mean? When I say politic, I mean I'm not a sports fan. You know what I mean? I didn't grow up watching sports. I wasn't never really, so I'm the type of person, I'll cut on Sports Center and watch the highlights. Love to see the highlights, but I don't want to watch a whole game. I'm the type of person, if you see me at the Super Bowl, I'm at the Super Bowl just flexing just because it's cool, and it's like, oh, tied the Super Bowl again. You know what I'm saying? That's the only reason I'm there. I'm just there just to flex. I'm there just to be there. I'm not All-Star Week. I'm there just to flex. That's it. I'm not there because I just love this game. No, I'm just there because that's just a big deal for people to be at the Super Bowl. And it's like, oh, I like to be a part of big deals. So, and you just never know who you're gonna meet. You know what I mean? Now, get me wrong, I like boxing, but it takes a lot for me just to watch a fight too. It's gotta be somebody I really like. But forget all that. That's irrelevant to what I'm talking about. So my point is, let's say I'm delivering a load somewhere. I walk into the owner's office or whoever's office is controlling the spot, right? I see Alabama posters and Nick Saban signatures everywhere around the room, right? That already lets me know this guy is a Alabama football fan. He's when I'm in the state of Alabama. I'm connecting these dots to everything, right? So I bring up a topic about something's got to do with Nick Saban or something's got to do with Alabama. Now that guy that guy thinks that me and him have something in common. He kind of likes that. He likes that I'm interested in what he likes. So now he wants to engage in a conversation, and it kind of you go around doing that type of stuff to people. Kind of you can go around and you can be engaging and showing interest in what you see other people have interest in some kind of way, finding something that, because people love when you like the stuff they like, or people love when you just talking about something they're interested in, right? That's why whenever time I'm on a conversation with somebody and they ask me how my weekend was, whatever like that, I know they don't really care how my weekend was. They want to ask me how my weekend was just so they can tell me how their weekend was, right? So I give them a brief little rundown of my weekend. I'm probably gonna not even really talk. I might say some crazy stuff oh yeah, I went to a restaurant, that's it, and I just went home and relaxed. But I probably did a lot more. I probably went to the most expensive restaurant in Georgia and had a great time and ate the most expensive meal. And then I probably did a lot of other stuff with my wife, you know what I'm saying, and we enjoy myself. But I don't never stretch all that, because I don't really want people to think I want them just kind of thinking I just got it like that, you know what I'm saying? Because you already know, then I was gonna do something to our relationship, because you're gonna probably ask me to borrow money, and I'm probably gonna say no, and then we're probably not gonna be friends no more, and I'm probably gonna sleep like a baby. You know what I'm saying? That's just how it's gonna go. But anyway, so Ah man, I lost track of what I was saying. Okay, yeah. So the friend. Oh yeah. Okay, so yeah, they ask you those questions because they. Oh yeah, back to what I was saying. They ask you those questions because they really want to tell you how their weekend was. So, but anyway, man, forget all about me. What's going on with you? How was your weekend? And here it goes, boom. They telling you all this little stuff, right? All you do is you engage in that, man. You talk about how great that was. You talk about how cool that was. How you know would like to try that sometime, right? And you do that. If you get a habit of doing that, man, they always want to. Those people always want to talk to you. People always want to be around people that it seems like they're engaged into what they are doing or all that stuff, right? You know what I mean? Some people can call it being fake. It can be, but you just, what I'm saying is getting a habit of doing that with people, especially people that you may feel is important that could do something for your life. That's what I'm saying. It's all about practicing. You can use your friends at first to practice to do that, because those things are things that are going to get you into those boardrooms, get you to those deals, be able to get you to be able to have a whole conversation with people about things that you interest you, that they have already going for them, that you may be a part of someday. So it's just what that is. So it's just how to, you know, win and influence friends, you know what I'm saying? So it's just a great book, and that's something that I think that's a great book. And I feel like that this book is something that, you know, you may want to check out and read. I think it's probably one of the ones you should, without a doubt, read, right? So here we're at number 7, The Miracle Morning, the not so obvious secret guaranteed to transform your life before 8 a.m. by Hal Elrod. Okay, so I remember a lot of times people were recommending this book for me to read, and it took me a while to finally read it. And I read it, and then I went to the extreme of the book, man. I started like setting myself up, like I'm gonna start waking up at like 2 a.m. and then I'm gonna start my morning at 2 a.m. and I'm gonna like get up and I'm gonna drink me some room temperature water. Then I'm gonna work out, and then I'm already have my day planned out. And I'm and the only reason why I start was getting up so early, because I have to start my day like that, because I'm a truck driver. And if anybody knows, especially in Atlanta, it's like getting up early and starting early and beating traffic is a win. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I do. I try to get up early. I try to get to where I'm going. Try to get past 285, get up 75, or wherever I'm going to Tennessee before I can beat traffic. That way I can get back the same day and beat traffic twice in one day. That's a great day. I'm talking, that's a 8 to 10 hour day of working, and then you made some money, you save some time, and you can come home and enjoy your day with your family without being, waking up a couple hours later, sitting in traffic for making your day go by extra hour and a half. But you times that by 2, because you're gonna have to do it again when you come back. That's like 4 extra hours. So now your 8 to 10 just turned to a 12 to 14. And now you got the only time you have to do now is just to go home, eat, maybe watch your little show. Now you sleep, and you're having to do this over again, right on the wheel, all over again. But this Miracle Morning, man, you can go ahead and get your mornings planned out and have your day right, and your day can go the way, instead of like having to rush, hitting that snooze button and not, you know what I'm saying? This book, that's the book I think is great for that, you know what I mean? So, great book, Miracle Morning. Okay, next book. I read this book recently, and I wish I would have read it a long time ago. Another amazing book. And this book is The One Thing, the surprisingly simple truth behind extraordinary results. This book is written by one of the number 1 real estate persons in the world, and that is Gary Keller. And I'm sure you're familiar with that name. That name is Keller Williams, and you see that everywhere. Like this is that guy. He wrote this book, The One Thing, and he has other great books. But this is not a real estate video. This video is really just about 10 great books that I feel like can do something for your life. But this particular book is focusing on that one thing. Focusing on that one thing that's going to that you like doing. Like if you are a person and you're into, let's say you're into business, or you're a barber and you're into cutting hair, you're a beautician, you're into like doing it, women hair, whatever it is that you like doing. Focusing on that one thing, being a master of that one thing. Because you don't want to be, jack of all trades, master at none. You don't want to be that guy where you're like, okay, yeah, I got this going on, I'm not saying not having several sources of income. Cool, do that, but you need to narrow that one thing that's going to like 10x you, right? So like when you get to that point, you can master this one thing whatever it is that you enjoy doing. Be the master of that. Get that down pat. Once you get that down pat, get to the point where it can run on its own, yeah, maybe then you can branch out things, but you want to be able to master in that one thing. If you can focus on mastering that one thing that you're good at, instead of trying to do 100 things, trying to make a buck, and then you looking back like, I don't know what to do or why it's not going right for me, because you're trying to do like 100 things. Like I had one friend, right? He called me one day, and I don't get to talk to him a lot. I may talk to him like once a year, but like we've been probably my longest friend and been friends forever, right? But every time I talk to him, he's like, I think last time I talked to him, he was talking about being a rapper. He was talking about being a rapper. He was talking about like getting into cars. He was talking about like doing karate. He was talking about like, it was a whole bunch. Like he was talking about, yeah, then I thought about doing this, and I thought about maybe going back to school and being like a nurse, and I'm like, man, you making me dizzy telling me all this stuff. Like, dude, focus on one thing. You know what I'm saying? Like stop trying to do 100 things. Like you can't, you just focus on that one thing, master it, and once you get it going, where you can get it on autopilot, and you want to like get to the point, and you want to try something else, hey, go there, do that. You know what I'm saying? Think about Michael Jordan, right? Michael Jordan was like great at one thing, and that was balling. He was the man out there. He was relentless, right? But then he he like got bored, and then he tried to go and do what? Try to be a baseball player, and he like, he kind of like sucked at it compared to when you compare it to his skills at being basketball. But being a basketball, that's something that was his one thing. He came back, you know what I'm saying? Came back, and he was, winning again, doing his thing on that one thing. You know what I'm saying? So that's my point. You know what I mean? It's crazy that I do a lot of reference to sports, and I'm not a sports guy, but I know people, and I know sports. It's just I'm not the type of person that's gonna sit down and be watching it. You know what I mean? I was that person that was like, I was that guy that was gonna be like, watching, other things. But that's relevant to this video. I'm sorry about that, man. Relevant to the video. What we got up next? This book that as a matter of fact, this is the last book I just read this month, a couple weeks ago. And I have it on the list because this book kind of goes along with everything I'm saying. And this book is called The Vivid Vision by Cameron Hellwright. This book, amazing. It's my amazing book, man. It's like common sense, but it's like, okay, this is how this book pretty much is. To give you a good little quick summary, if I can do it quick, notice I'm not really doing things quickly, right? So this particular book is pretty much talking about planning your life like 3 years out. So for me right now, right, this is November the 28th, Thanksgiving 2019. But the way I look at things like whole number. So it's like, okay, this year's almost over with, so I'm gonna go 2020 to 2023, 3 years ahead. So in 2023, it's like visualizing what I want my life to look like in 2023. What is it that I want to have? I know I want to be able to be making $5,000 a month passively through real estate. That's just the real estate part, right? So that lets me know, okay, if I want to make $5,000 a month through real estate, how many doors will I probably need? I probably need about 10 doors that are going to make $500 at least, cash flow $500. So that is going to give me the $5,000 a month just on the real estate side, right? So in my mind, it's like, okay, so what I need to do from now to 2023 to get 10 doors to be able to get that. So it's like, oh, you need to break down the criteria. Like, okay, I need to be looking for houses that like are gonna, like, if not gonna make 500 right now, they can project to make 500 by that time, and I need to get 10 of those. So I need to now like at least get one. So what is it gonna take me to get that one? So like, okay, I need to have this much money down to do the down payment, or this much money down to buy cash, or whatever, right? I need to like start figuring out how long is it gonna take me to do that. Start doing that. Start setting up the plan to get that bread, to get that particular property, and you keep getting that one. And then once you get that one, you get it going, get it stable, trying to figure out, okay, what is it gonna take me to get that second one? So once you start getting a couple of them, you can start seeing you have a rhythm, and you can kind of like 10x your rhythm and speed up the process, right? So that's kind of how it is. So you look at, okay, that's how I want that part to look, right? So it's like, how do I want my fitness? How do I want my health, right? Well, I know by 2023, I want to stop eating so much candy. I really want to just cut it out my diet, because that's like, I've been eating candy like crazy for like the last 30 years. Like when I say like crazy, it's like a lot. Like I eat a lot of candy. I've always done that. I put more sugar in my body than I do anything else. Um, so that's something that I know it's not healthy for me, and it's going to eventually catch up to me, and it's not going to be good. So I need to cut that out of my life, right? So I need to be planning like now to like, okay, I need to be cutting candy out of my life. It's like anybody else that has a habit or something, or if you're a smoker or a drinker or whatever it is you do, and it's kind of like hard for you to get. It's kind of how I am with candy, right? So I need to start like set myself up to something like, okay, if I eat candy, I need to like so let's say if I spend $5 a day on candy, I need to go buy $5 the same day of some crypto. And I say because of crypto because I invest in a lot of other things, but crypto is something I don't understand. But I got a friend that's deep into crypto. He understands it, and he's always trying to get me to invest in it, right? And I'm always like, you know what I mean? Yeah, I'm gonna try to look into it one day, but I really ain't want to have the time to do it. So it's like, okay, like let me like start like, okay, this thing could be something that could be good. I don't know. I just know about mutual funds and real estate and trucking. That's the only 3 things I know about. But that's one thing. So it's like, okay, let me. So every time I do something like go buy some candy, it's like if I go spend $5, I gotta go spend at least $5 on crypto. You know what I mean? I have to, like, you know what I mean? It's kind of like having it as an accountability partner. Like it's like almost like a swear jar. It's like, dang, you know what I mean? So it's gonna eventually get me something. It's gonna eventually get me from doing that. That's just one strategy I do. But the vivid vision also, it's just pretty much, you pretty much living your life in reverse. You're like 2023 and back. Like, how do I get to this point? Where do I want to live? I know I want to live in Buckhead, right? So it's like, how do I get from Douglasville to Buckhead in those 3 years to be able to do that? How much money? Like, how much are the homes in Buckhead? Well, you already know, right? In this day of time, the market is on fire. At the top of the market, the cheapest home that you can get there right now is like $500,000. So I'm always looking for deals. So it's like sometimes you can run across one that's like, so in my mind it's like, okay, I need to start setting myself up to be able to afford to buy at least a $500,000 house in 3 years, right? So what is it I need to do to be able to do that? So it's kind of like you setting that plan up to like when you get there, I could, be there, right? Let's say, what kind of car do you want to drive in 2023? Well, being realistic, I would like to drive a Rolls Royce, but I really love the Rolls Royce. So what does it take for me to get a Rolls Royce? It's like, I know right now in 2019 you can get a 2014 Wraith for like $130. So am I gonna still want that same car in 2023? I don't know. But to make this thing, it's kind of like, okay, how do I purchase that car at that time to make it make sense for me to be able to, so I need to start doing things to be able to buy that car. It's not gonna be $130. By then it's gonna be a lot cheaper from then, but by that time I'm probably gonna change my mind. I'm probably just gonna be modest and get something like a Tesla, or get a dually truck or something like that. Those other cars I like. I don't know. You're just looking at your life in 2023, and you're just going backwards. But you're like having to set these plans up so that way you can get there then, right? So that's the thing. That's like you just being able to like living in reverse almost, but you're writing back, because you're like looking at visualizing your life. Like, I know that I want to be able to get up, I want to start my day 2023 getting up, being able to drink my room temperature water, work out for 30 minutes a day. So you can start working out today 5 minutes or 15 minutes and growing from there. But by 2023 I want to be able to have my body to look like this. I want to be able to have my financials look like this. I want to live here. I want to drive this. I want to, be a part of that. So you got to start just putting yourself, I want to dress like this. You want to start setting those things up, but just going backwards. That's pretty much, but it's a really great book. Vivid Vision. Great book to check out. All right, now we're on the last one. And if I missed one, I don't think I did, but here we go. Last book we're reading. And this book is a little different. Well, not really, but this book is Think Like a Billionaire, Become a Billionaire. As a Man Thinks So, So He Is. And this is by Scott Anderson. He's actually a pastor. I don't remember how I came across this particular book. And but I came across it, I ordered it, I read the whole thing like really quick. And it was like, that was the key thing. It was almost like I can compare this book to like 10x, This book is like 10x. It's kind of like being able to look at things, pretty much setting your goals higher than with expected. So it's like, earlier when I was talking about, I know in 3 years I want to live in Buckhead. But I know that's like, when I say that, it's kind of like I'm settling. I'm looking at, okay, 3 years, comparing my life now. Like, 3 years, I could make it. But 3 years, it's like, I actually want to, like, live on Paces Ferry in Buckhead, Tuxedo Park. And, like, those homes aren't $500,000. Them houses are more so like $500,000. Them homes are more so like $5 million. You know what I'm saying? But it's kind of like, when you 10x and something, you thinking, it's like, sitting, it's like, man, I would love to live on Paces Ferry in one of those mansions, 490 West Paces Ferry to be exact. You know what I'm saying? That's like that house that I always drive past, and when I always look at it, when I'm like, that's the one I want. I would love to live there, you know what I'm saying? And it's kind of like you being able to like think, but a billionaire, he's not gonna be sitting there thinking, oh, let me just settle for the 500,000. No, billionaire thinks like, he don't sit around. It's kind of like in that, Rich Dad Poor Dad book, when he was talking about, when he was in the book and he's talking about what, the things he did, and how, like, when he's in the book, he's talking about the things he did, and he's talking about stuff like, instead of saying, I can't afford that, it's more so about how can I afford that. You know what I mean? And that's the same thing. It's kind of like figuring out, how can I get, if I want that, how can I get it, instead of I can't get that. You start figuring out what it takes for you to get it. And if let's say I have a goal, where I want to like hit 400,000 by the end of the year, but if I only hit 200,000, wouldn't it be better for me wouldn't it have been better for me when I started the year, instead of me trying to set my goal to 200,000 and I don't hit the 200,000, I end up hitting 100,000, but if I said 400,000, I fell short and only did half of that, I got the 200,000, it's kind of like you're setting your goals a lot higher than you expected to set them, and being able to, like, if you come up short, so be it. You know what I mean? You get it next time, but still don't sell yourself short. Don't get to that point where you're not hitting your goals like you want to, because you say like, I really want to do this, but I don't think I'm only able to do this. So forget that, man. If you wanna like, you wanna ride Bugatti, spend $1 million on a car, and you're like, but I know I only can afford this Prius, so I'm just gonna plan to get a Prius. It's like, no, man. Try to get the Bugatti. You may end up with a Lamborghini instead. But for some people, Lamborghini is a lot better than the Prius. Except to a person that loves Prius. So those are my books. I got the feeling that I might have missed one. If I didn't say Rich Dad Poor Dad, I apologize. If I didn't, I'm gonna say so. So if I didn't say Rich Dad Poor Dad in this video, I apologize. But if I didn't put that in this, that book should have been on the list, and that book should have been, messed up, man. That book probably should have been number 6, right after the Dave Ramsey book. Rich Dad Poor Dad should have been the book you read after the Dave Ramsey book, or right after that should have been that book. And if I didn't put that in here, man, my bad. I'm sorry. Let me fix that now. Okay, so that's probably my favorite book of all time, Rich Dad Poor Dad. That's probably most people's book. You're not gonna find too many people that's read that book at least twice. That they're not being successful in life. They're not doing the things they need to do. Like every time you listen to a podcast with somebody and they say what are your favorite books, and most people, like 90% of them, are gonna say Rich Dad Poor Dad. That book did something for that. That book kind of like got people out of that rat race. You know what I'm saying? That book is the #1 book of all time. If you look at this video and you don't want to read any of these books that Alan said, but you only want to read one of them, that's the one I think you should read out of all these. And once you read that one, it'll probably make you want to come back to this video and look at the list and go back and read the rest. So that's the book, I feel like. And that book is, it's just like, that book is gonna be that book that's going to like turn your life all the way around if your life is not doing good right now. And if your life is doing good right now, it's gonna make your life great. And if your life's great, it's gonna make your life unstoppable. You know what I'm saying? That's what Rich Dad Poor Dad is gonna do for you. It's gonna pretty much teach you about like Like, why you have this person that's like, hey, let me just go to school, let me just work this 9 to 5, kind of like the crap they teach you in school, and just trying to teach you how to go work for somebody for the rest of your life and put your money into like this little thing right here and just kind of be comfortable over here where it's safe. Nah, Rich Dad Poor Dad is going to teach you how to like be that business owner, the difference between, the have and the have-nots, how you become the haves and not the have-nots. That book is what's going to really do that to you. You know what I mean? And if you don't believe me, go find 10 people that you respect, that you look up to, or that you think do so well, and ask them how they ever read this book. And if all 10 of them say they ain't never read that book, you probably need to go find some more people that you respect. Because like I said, this is probably one of the greatest top 5 books ever written. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a really great book, man. You know what I mean? So I know this is probably one of the longest videos I've ever done, and I mean, so be it. And this is one of them situations where I felt like it's important. I felt like I hadn't done a video in so long. I wanted to finally get back out here and get back to making these videos. And I'm gonna leave a list of all of these books in this description with the links that you can go check out and all this stuff like that, and all that good stuff, man. Like everybody else, like normal, man. Like, subscribe to me if you ain't subscribed, especially if you like this trucking stuff that go on. Click that bell so you can see when I get a notification when I make a new video. Like I said, I'm going to make a plan, like I've been talking about, to be more consistent with these videos. I don't know quite yet when, but I'm gonna make a plan to be more consistent, make more content, be able to put more stuff out here, be able to get this stuff out. And this is only part 1 because I read so much and I read all the time. Like, I'm at that point where I'm reading at a minimum of 50 books a year. I'm reading like crazy. I got the Audible subscription. I'm also just reading, and it's like I'm always like studying. Every day I'm in that truck, I'm listening to some kind of podcast, some kind of audio book every single day. So I'm doing my thing. I'm out here, I'm reading, I'm listening, I'm gathering knowledge, I'm trying to be greater, I'm trying to like develop. So y'all want to follow on with this journey, or just ask me anything, just hit me up, subscribe, and I'm gonna go ahead and like let y'all enjoy our Thanksgiving day, man. And I'm gonna get on out of here, man. I appreciate y'all being patient with me, and I appreciate y'all if you share this video with people you think are thinking about what kind of books to read or how they want their life to look like, whatever. These are the ones that in my opinion, are the ones I think they should try to check out. And leave comments, and if you got any other books that I missed that I didn't grab, or books you think I should read, leave them in the comments. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to go read them if I hadn't read them already, and if it's someone, I'll probably read them again if I have. So I'm gonna get on out of here, man, and appreciate y'all just kicking it with me, man. I'm out.